hopefully, let's see. I think I got our filming stuff set up correctly this time, so I think we're good. How are you guys? It's good to see you. I've got some fun stuff to show you. I had kind of a, hi Melissa, how are you? It's good to see you. Thanks for joining me. I've got some fun things to show you guys. The mega cup of coffee. It just needs to happen. I also, last week, for those of you that didn't join me, hi Angela, thanks for joining me. I'm super glad you're here. So for those of you that were here last week, I made a layout, and then afterwards I looked at it and I was like, it needs a few more things. So I added a few things to it. So I will show you. Hi, Stacy. Aw. Well, you know, it's up. Last week oh, thank you. You know, believe it or not, I'll give you all a little background on where we started and how we came to be, because we actually did have a brick and mortar store, and we opened in 2000 and let's see, I have to do it by the age of my kids when we opened. Yeah, I know. I always go back. So we opened in 2000 and, let's see, Mackenzie was 7, 2005. And our store was called Hip to Be Square. And we were open for about 5 years as a brick and mortar store. And the cabinets that you see behind me, this one, and then I have another one over here, were from our store. And I actually built them myself. I built all of our fixtures because I couldn't find what I wanted. And so I built everything from lumber. And I'd never built anything before in my life. I said to my husband when we were getting ready to do it and I designed everything, I'm like, how hard can it be? I don't say that anymore because it was so much work. By the time we got them all built, I think I built 18 8-foot cabinets, and then I built 3 four-sided islands that were like 6 by 4. And yeah, well, this was a lot of work. And then we had to prime everything and paint everything. And so anyway, about 6 months after we opened our store, I started the Hip Kit Club. And that's kind of where that started. And so we were doing both at the same time. And after about 5 years, just to have a little bit more quality of life and be able to manage both, we closed our store and we started to put all of our energy and focus into our Hip Kit Club. And so we have been in business since 2005, so almost 20 years, which is crazy. And we're still going, and we still love what we do, and we hope you guys still love what we do. Um, my husband and I, Robert, we run everything. We do it all. Yeah. It's crazy because considering when we opened, there were so many scrapbooking stores and or scrapbooking manufacturers. There were tons of stores. There were, gosh, I can't even begin to list the number of scrapbooking manufacturers. But like, for instance, CHA was going on back at that time, and the first CHA that I went to was in Chicago, and it literally took me a day and a half just to walk the store. And then on the third day, I kind of honed in what it was that we were ordering, and we were ordering for our entire store. So we were stocking our entire store, and there were, I don't know if how many of you been scrapbooking for that long, but there was, well, Basic Gray, Sassafras Lass, Pink Paisley had just started that year. Crepe Paper was independent at that time, and that was their first year. Um, gosh, uh, Seven Gypsies and Rusty Pickle and Scenic Route and gosh, there were so many. My Mind's Eye, and then Echo Park spun off of My Mind's Eye. There was Cosmo Cricket. Anyway, so there was just so much to choose from. So when we initially started doing our kit club, we did curated kits from a variety of manufacturers, and there were so many to choose from. So we had a mix of so many different things. And then over the years, hi Diana, thanks for joining us. I'm glad you're here. I'm trying to kind of keep track of the comments too. I've got my glasses on, so hopefully I can read them. They're tiny on my phone. But so over the course of the many years, the manufacturers started, closing up shop, and there became fewer and fewer and fewer products. And so probably 3 years ago, we started mixing exclusives in with our manufactured products that we were getting from different manufacturers, and we were kind of designing our stuff to kind of flow with what we were designing for our kits. And then last January, we went. Okay, sorry about that. My phone rang. Anyways, I've lost my train of thought. Now I've lost my train of thought. Oh, so last January we went completely exclusive and started doing our own collections, and it's super cool, and I'm so excited. And every single month I'm thrilled when the products arrive. One second. Mackenzie? Well, if she calls again, I'll have somebody reach out. Anyway, so we started doing our own exclusives, and that means paper and embellishments. And every single month, every 30 days, we come out with a new collection, which is insane. Do you work with designers to come up with your stuff? Or is it, I have a graphic designer. Her name is Kim Watson, and she and I work together, and we design the products. So if our entire workforce is 3 people. It's my husband who does all the emails every time you email. He's the one that communicates back with you. And he and I pack and ship all of your orders. And that's why it takes a few days for us to kind of get through everything. And then, and then I do, all the artistic stuff. So all the stuff that's kind of behind the scenes. And we've got a hugely talented design team from all over the world. We've got designers from the Netherlands and Germany, Japan, the UK. So it is a lot every 30 days. It's a labor of love. And I think it's important what we do. And I think that, I'm so glad that you're still subscribing with us, Melissa. I think that the fact that we put out the amount of product that we do every 30 days, I think that it's important. I think that, it's important to keep this hobby alive and going. And, it's something that brings a lot of people happiness, and people scrapbook for a variety of different reasons. Some people scrapbook because they want to leave something to their kids, in terms of telling their stories and, remember all the memories from their childhoods. And, nowadays it's very different from when we first started, although we had tons of pictures back then too, but everything was film, so you'd take your pictures, you'd have to drop your film off at Target or Costco or what have you, and then you'd get your photos back, and then you would scrapbook your photos. And then everything went digital to digital cameras, and now digital phones, which take amazing photos. So you have so many more photos than you did back in the day. So nowadays, you kind of have to pick and choose what you're going to scrapbook, because if you try to scrapbook every single picture that you take, which is kind of what we did, back in the early 2000s and, before that, because you didn't have nearly as many. So now, it's easy to take photos of like just the everyday moments. It's easy to capture those little quiet moments, and, whether it happens to be a photo that maybe isn't that impressive, but it tells a larger story. So, you're able to scrapbook it in a different way. And there's a lot of different ways to create, in terms of, having an album for each child, or having an album for Christmas as an album for your family, and then albums for your kids or grandkids or what have you. And, or it's Project Life, or it's memory planners, or it's traveler's notebooks, or it's mixed media journals. I mean, there's just so much out there, and there's so many possibilities. And we just want to give everybody the opportunity to create in whatever way you're passionate about, in whatever way it means something to you. And so that's what keeps us doing what we're doing. And we hope you like it, In fact, for those of you that have been screaming for something a little more gender neutral, we listened, and we've got something coming for you. So, and it's going to be super fun. It's like very graphic and still us, but, a little different. So I'm super excited about it. In fact, Kim and I just talked about it yesterday. So, yeah. Does anybody have any questions for me? I'm like happy to answer them, or No? Everybody's gone quiet. Okay, so with that said, why don't we get started? I am going to focus today on a few ways to combine your papers and maybe use them differently. Because maybe you get a paper and you're like, I don't know what I'd do with that. Or it's busy, or how do I combine all these different things together to create something that is maybe different. And what I'm going to show you today is some super easy things. Nothing is completely finished, so we'll kind of we might not complete a layout today, but you'll have some ways to kind of kick off a project and try something fun. And there were a few ideas that I had that I think could be a little bit different. And now I'm looking and one of my things is missing. Okay, so I am going to turn my camera down, and I'm hoping that it's gonna face the right direction. Fingers crossed. Okay, so give me 1 second. Okay, now if now you're seeing the mess of my desk. All right, don't need to look at me. Let's see, oh, we're almost there, guys. Almost there. Hang on 1 second. I'm gonna move this. If you could only see this rig I've got set up, it's a little bit ridiculous. Okay, hang on 1 second. You guys, I did it. This is quite a feat, I'll tell you. Okay, let's see. Are we good? I think we're good. Okay, so it's not going to be perfectly square, but it's close. Okay, let me move my coffee. So at least now I'll be able to stay on frame, I think, this time. So first of all, let's start with the layout that I did last week. And we can I just want to show you the things that I added to it. So this is the page I did last week. And so at the end of the week, I felt like it was really naked down here. So none of these embellishments that were at the bottom were here. And I felt like everything was so heavy up in this direction. And I needed some weight down here. And to give you that visual triangle, I needed to add some flowers down here. And so I basically used the cardstock flower stickers here. These are chipboard. I added and repeated the frames down here at the bottom. And I added some teal down here and some just a few puffy stickers here. I added a couple of additional things over here, some puffy stickers. And some of the super cute glittery hearts, which I'm so in love with. I don't know if you can see them. Okay, now I'm like, okay, there we go. But these are really, really pretty. And no glitter comes off on your fingers. So anyway, so that was kind of the changes that I made to it. And I think it turned out really cute. Now I'm really happy with it. So sometimes you just need to step away from your pages, you know, and you just don't know where to go next. Set them aside, move on to something else, and come back and look at it again. And oftentimes it'll just come to you like that. So, yeah, so that was from last week. And this week, we're going to talk about mixing your patterns. And a couple of things that I mentioned last week was that creating these are all the border strips from the pattern paper in this kit, or in our February kit. So I just glued them onto, cut them off, had them sitting around, and I just arranged them on a piece of cardstock and glued them down. And, you know, you could use this as a jumping off, you know, place for, or jumping off place for your layout, you know, by building from here. You could do a diagonal page. You could, let's see here. This is my new Sizzix trimmer scorer. I have to say that the jury is still out because I am not loving the trimmer. It won't cut this direction. It will only cut this direction. And sometimes it doesn't cut really clean. So maybe it needs a new blade. I don't know. But I was really hopeful that I would be able to get rid of my trimmer. So I cut about 1 inch off of both. And I think I would leave it like this, for instance. So now you have like this cool piece of paper, and you could add it onto another piece of either, you know, colored or even just white, right? And, you know, start your page from there and build it on a diagonal. You know, you could probably have either here, or you could put it here, have a title, have your journaling over on this side. And then just, you know, start all my embellishments are sorted by color. And let's say I wanted to use this as my frame, and I have a larger photo. So let's just cut the center out. And I can put my photo in the middle, right? And then you just start building from there. You can add, let's see, I've got a bunch of, so hopefully you all remember the pockets, right? And so we have all these different pockets and cards. So pockets, that'd be kind of cute. Journaling cards. Gosh, you could even really do a navy one, which would be kind of cute because there's no navy on this, but all of the other colors are, they show up in all the papers. And so what if you used and added the navy there and just built your page going this direction with embellishments and, you know, so putting layers underneath and then running your embellishments that way. And or you could go with, you know, pink on pink. That'd be really cute too. This is the same photo that I scrapbooked last weekend, but it was a different size. I wanted something a little larger. But look how cute that is. And these are just border strips, right? So keep those and, you know, use them. They're super fun. You can just use them as layers. And if before you decide to cut them off, you could use a border punch on them and you could have like a decorative edge on them. The other thing that you can do, where are you off to? Okay. The other thing that you could do, since I'm not gonna totally use this at this moment, but let's say you wanted to use, I'm hoping that this is gonna work, a circle punch and punch a bunch of circles out of it. Different combination every time you and just create a design that goes vertically down your page. So, I mean, it's super cute, really super easy. You get a lot of different patterns. And you can do the same thing with strips of your pattern papers. And you can use, like, for instance, even with this, I think I have a giant punch. I don't know how well this punch works, and you just wait. It won't work, I bet. Yep, that was the right answer. It won't work. But you could run this through with a die. You could do all kinds of different shapes. You could do hexagons, you could do triangles. You could even do the, where are they? You could do the arch dies, would be really cool. But just punch, you know, just keep punching through and make a bunch of these. And let's do this the fast way. but you've created something that's unique and with a simple circle punch, right? If you've got nested circle dies, you can do all sizes of circles. And just, you know, make some kind of a pattern overlapping them as you come down your page. And then it's almost like creating a stripe of some sort. And then you just kind of mix them up so that you don't have the same colors, you know, right next to one another throughout the whole thing. So anyway, so you can use these, and then you can pop some of them up on, you know, on foam dots too, and put a picture in there and start embellishing. And, you know, you can have it run this direction. You could do it, you know, across your page this way and do like a horizontal design. You can have them go this way like we were looking earlier and do something that is on the diagonal. I kind of like my diagonals. Like if I'm gonna use a photo that I want to go this direction, or you know, I never will run my diagonals this way. I always want them going up. But so anyway, that kind of gives you an idea of, you know, some fun things that you could try with your circle punch and with your border strips or strips of your pattern paper. And if you used larger strips of pattern paper, you can always use a larger circle. The other thing that could be kind of fun is if you now this is why, good grief, this is why I got this, because it has a score on it too. So what if you scored down the center, and then these aren't glued very well, so, but you could fold them and then run stitches, or like, you know, do them in lines, and you could stitch down the center of them, either hand stitch or embroidery or whatever, and then that'll add extra texture. And if you put them so that they're layered, then you kind of get a peek of what's underneath too. So, and you can do the same thing with just your basic, I've got a bunch of circles that I've punched out for something else. But like, for instance, if you've got, you know, a bunch of different patterns and you decide that you want to, you know, fold them in half, stitch through the bottoms or through the center, and then you've created kind of a, and then you would glue this bottom one down flat and then leave the others kind of folded up a little bit. And then you'd be able to see like all the different colors. You could even tie a piece of string through here and or around here. If you glued it on the back, I think it'd hold, and you could tie a little knot and have them, you know, hook that way as well. So just some ideas of some simple circles and some pattern paper. The other idea that I had with border strips is, get this out of the way. Here's another, these are the border strips from the cardstock. They're just these little, they've got little white dots on them. And all I did was, what did I do? I used our, okay, I have it here, but I don't know what I did with it. I used our lattice die. It's a slimline die, and it's got so much detail and texture, and you can weave with it. Like this, I used just these, the border strips, but you could even have thinner pieces of paper and weave them through some of these other holes here, which would be really cool. And if I could figure out what I did with that die, I would show it to you, because I think we still have that one in stock. Oh, I knew I had it. So it looks like this, and you just run it through your die cut machine, and you get these panels of lattice that are, I believe it's about 4 by 8-ish. And what I did on one of them, I cut both sides off so I could overlap. You can see it here, kind of. I overlapped and glued them together to make a larger panel. And I could have continued to go that way and made this so that it would stretch across an entire 12 by 12 paper. But as it is, look how cute that is. Kind of doesn't show up very well in that. Let's see if I have something a little brighter that we don't have. Let's try this and see if this is better. Well, then you lose these. So probably what I would do, well, regardless of what you did. So like, for instance, here's just an idea. This is just regular craft foam. You get it at Michael's. It's like, I don't know, $2 or $3 for a pack of like 20. Comes in random ugly colors. This one might be too thick. So I'm gonna... Okay. So let's say I just, and this will add, like, this will make some of these details in the die show up better, because you'll really get a shadow underneath. And you don't have to do every single one. You just want it to have some, since I'm using this really little. And because it's going behind, it doesn't matter what color of foam you use. You can buy foam tape that's white if you're concerned about that, but I don't think you ever see you don't ever see it. So if you can save money on some stuff to be able to spend money on the things that you like and can't find elsewhere, then I say do that. It's like buying a white t-shirt at Target and buying something else somewhere else that's a little nicer, you know. Although honestly, Target in my book. You can get anything there. My husband hates it when I go to Target. He's like, what are you getting there? And I'm like, I don't know. And then I walk out with, like, he calls it the $200 club. Because I'll come home with cat toys or whatever. And he's like, please don't buy any more cat toys. And I'm like, well, we don't have young kids anymore, so I'm not buying kids' toys. Because that's what I would usually do. You know, go to Target with the kids. And they're like, can I have this? And you're like, no. And then you end up giving in. And then they walk out with something. And so now I have cats. And I bring home these toys. And nobody likes them. And why is that? My daughter has a cat that will play with any toy you give him. And so he's the one that they put on Amazon, or he would be a good cat to put on Amazon showing how great all the toys are, because he makes it look like it's the funnest toy in the world, and you give it to the rest of them and they could care less. And they're over there playing with the box that it came in, you know. And we get lots of boxes, let me tell you. So last month I used a bunch of packing tape and I made a gigantic cat fort. I'm one cat shy of crazy cat lady, but I made a fort that was like 3 stories. We have a cat condo. We only let him have it for a day, but our cats get treated better than we do. So, okay. So this just kind of gives you an idea of, if you put foam underneath it, look at the difference. You get that really nice shadow underneath. And you know how you were kind of losing some of the patterns when it was on a color that was the same color. So, and even if you were to, where's the white cardstock? Put it on white. White on white, I think, is beautiful, because then you really see the shadows underneath. But look how pretty that is. And then, you know, there's your center of your page, and then you just build your layout on top of it. And you could embellish in whatever way you wanted. You could, you know, ink blend behind, or use like, gosh, I've got, let me, hang on one second. Let me grab this one, not that one. I was going to see if I had an ink pad that. Okay. So, like, for instance, we'll try this. I think that this was in a previous kit. And this is a Catherine Puller ink, and this one is 16 candles. And I know we've had it in a previous kit, but I don't remember which one it was. And I think it sold out, but we oftentimes bring these back. And to be honest, I think for me, I love having the full-size ink pads, I think, more than the minis. The kicker with the full size is that they're a little bit more expensive. But so, like, let's say this is going to be really soft, but so my thing is going to be about right there, right? So I'm going to just add And you can't, it's hard to see. It's like very, you can see just a very light shadow, right? And that's because this color is super light. I didn't want to do something super dark, but so let's say we end up just doing a very soft ink blend. And these little brushes are probably $12 for 6, maybe. But I find that they work a lot better than the foam blending tools, because see, if you don't do kind of blend the ink into the brush before you put it on your paper, you're gonna get it to look kind of like that. And these inks are buildable, so you'll see if you keep adding, it gets a little darker and a little darker. So then you put your, that's the beauty of mixed media, right? You do your mixed media and you realize that you've covered everything up. That's what I should have done to begin with, so. So there you go. Sadly, I can't see any of your comments, you guys, but if you have comments or questions as to anything that I'm doing or using, leave them in the comments. And if you make them in all caps, it makes it easier for me to find them and see them. So, okay. So since this is a square, I want to make sure that I go off into those corners because that's the part that was getting mixed, right? But then you put your page down there and you've got like a little, it's hard to see. But the other thing that you could do too, let's just try this. These are the stamps from our January color kit, which are super cool. And we've got a new mixed media stamp set that's coming out this month. So it's in our March kit. But these are super cool. For those of you that are like afraid of mixed media because you're afraid it's going to make a mess or it's going to ruin your page or whatever, you can use these and they allow you to put down mixed media in a very controlled way, right? So like for instance, I'm going to pull this off over here. And like for instance, if you don't get a great image, you can do it again. So when you lay your page over the top, it looks like you've got some mixed media peeking out from behind, and that you were really good at placing it. But you can layer these so look at that. And it looks like you've created this mixed media effect. And then in addition to that, we've got splatters. So for those of you that are afraid to splatter on your pages because you're gonna ruin them, check this out. And you get your splatters. This one I didn't have go off enough, I don't think, so I'll do it again. And look how cute that is. The other thing that is kind of interesting about these particular inks is that they are water reactive. And you can put like, okay, so I'm trying to do something that probably, do you see how that water is affecting the ink? And you can do it with a paintbrush too. My paintbrush is really tiny, but and you'll see it'll even kind of change you'll see some of the water drops on the ink blending that I did as well. So it just adds a little more distressing. And depending on what look you're going for, look how cool that is. So simple border strips and a die if you have like a die that has diagonal stripes. I mean, we have a bunch of different dies that are like this. We've got, gosh, let me kind of pull some of these out, but we've got this one, which you probably see better. So, and this one can be woven too, you know, or you can weave this direction and go in and out. And these can be like put together like this because I believe that they're seamless. Yeah, so they're totally seamless. So you can overlap them, I believe. There you go. And you can make a single pattern or panel with these. You just have to trim off the edge here so that you don't have it going through. The other one that we've got is a diagonal stripe, and I created a holiday card using that die, and I wove just cardstock through it. It was, so I think you can see how cute that is, right? And you can make these larger just because they're, you know, sized for a standard card. You can, you know, cut them down. And what I would probably do is I would, gosh, yeah, I would weave them, probably put two going this direction and then two this direction. I would probably put the whole panel together before you start weaving it so that you're gluing the little tiny stripes together so that it holds its shape. And I just use like a fine liner bottle. This is Barely Art Glue. It's new to me. I have always used Scotch tacky glue, and that always worked really well. I always felt it was a little thick and difficult to get out of the bottle. This one is not at all, and the nozzle is super fine and it doesn't clog. So this one's been a little easier to work with, I think. So, so yeah, so there's that page or technique, I guess. And then the other one that I was going to show you, well, I have two other ideas, I guess. And as much as I think my desk is going to stay neat and tidy while I do all this, it just never happens that way. Okay. Okay. So what I'm going to focus on next is using a couple of patterns that you might find, well, one in particular that you might find is random and difficult to use, and I'm hoping that I have, because I used it on the back. Oh, here. I used it on the back of my page, so, or on the, used one of the sides. So this paper, they all fell on the floor. This paper here, and it has all these little tiny, like, spirographs, or what are they called? They're like, I want to call them, are they polygons or pentagons, or I can't think of the name of it, but string art, you know, that's what it kind of reminds me of a little bit. But anyway, it's got all these little shapes on it, and you're like, well, what in the world am I going to do with this paper? How in the world am I going to use it? I have an idea for you. And I think that once you see it, you're going to be like, oh, I could totally do that. And it's going to combine some others. So, you know, oftentimes when you're looking at all of the papers that come in the kits, you're like, you know, you can feel a bit overwhelmed, right? Because there's so many different patterns. So many of them might feel too bold to you, or, you know, like, how am I going to combine these together? Sometimes it's just a matter of taking little bits and pieces of several of them and combining them. So let's say we try this one. Oh, you know what? The paper that I was looking for, guess what? It's right there. And maybe this guy. And let's see. Let's find something that's got some. I know that I've got a piece of it here. It's just a matter of me finding it. Let's see. This guy, and well, maybe and I think it fell on the floor. Let me grab it over here. And this guy. So, starting with this one, right? What are you going to do with it? So what I was thinking is you could take this, cut it in strips, so you're not cutting through any of these. And then you can take, this is a 1.5 inch circle punch. You could do this with dies too. If you've got a circle punch, it's going to be a lot faster. So you just flip it up, flip your punch upside down so that you can center each one of these in your punch, and then you've cut them out, right? So if you've cut these in strips like this, and then you go through and you cut each one of the these circles out, then you're going to end up with this black and white paper with a bunch of holes cut out of the strips. So what I was thinking was that you could take these papers, you've got the colors kind of repeating in all of them. And this one in particular has a lot of different color combinations. It's got a darker blue, the mint, pink, and then here you've got kind of that lavender. And then it blends through, since it's, you know, an ombre, you've got a nice blending of the colors around the page. So it works perfectly with this because it's got the darker blue, it's got a pink, and it's got that orchid color along with the tie-dye. And then this guy just has some darker teal in it, which will give you some variation. So cut a bunch of circles using that same size punch out of these papers. And then what you do is you take your strips, you glue them onto a piece of white cardstock, right? And you've got seams here, but what I was thinking would be kind of cool is if you ran a zigzag stitch down in between each one, and then you could do it also this way and just create kind of a cool grid, right? And I think this guy was missing one here, so maybe I'll put that one. That one, nope. This one. How about, gosh. I've got all these circles. This would be super cute. You could do this idea with this too. Or even mix some of these in here, like there and there. Anyway, just another idea. They're always flowing over here, I'll tell you. Sorry, my cat is going bananas. He wants to go outside. Okay, we'll just put the tie-dye there. So you've created this really pretty grid, and it's not perfect. The circles aren't lined up absolutely perfectly, but because you tried to center each one of the shapes when you cut it out, they should be pretty evenly punched, right? So you could do that. Then you can glue these into place, or you could take the handy dandy foam and put it behind, right? So I don't know how. I was good, right? Okay, so let's build some dimension from the center. I'm going to start with this one. And some of these, like, you could switch from having a patterned paper to a tiny punched photo. So then you don't have to like have all of them have dimension. You could do just some of them. Like you could do all of the floral ones, or you know, you can do just random like this. And then once that's done, and like, I don't want all the stripes going the same direction, because that just seems too like well thought out or planned, and I think it is cool to have some variation in. Let's see, let's do this guy. So there's some glue, and you just pop that over the top. The other option is that you could just put a little bit of adhesive in the center, run your sewing machine through each center here, and then you can flip these up like that on the edge. Or just simply put a little adhesive there, and don't glue them in. Some people like just to have that loose look when they create their pages. Daniela Jenke, her pages are so pretty. See how that, it's not glued entirely all the way down, and the edges are just peeking up. And then that way, when you go to like add embellishments to some of these, like for instance, you know, you can embellish some of them. Some of them can be florals. Some of them, you know, like for instance, you could do like this guy and put like a little paper clip there, or on this one, you could have a heart, and or maybe not this guy, maybe this one here. And you just kind of, this heart's a little bit too big, but add some, like these guys, even though they're long, you can cut them so that they're gonna fit over. Okay, I trimmed my fingernails yesterday and now I can't pick anything up, but like that. And so it's kind of like creating a little grid. And even this, if you didn't want to use like the paper clip, you can put the little, can you hear my cat? He's so ridiculous. And just, you know, embellish it however you want. But there's so many little bits and pieces. And honestly, you know, the puffy stickers, I use some of them on my last page, but this is kind of how I stored them. I'm not gonna, if I had a photo, I would probably be able to go through and, you know, maybe I'll make a page out of this and I'll post it in our Facebook group, so you could see what it would look like finished. But like, you know, we've got little, and they don't even have to be in the center, you know, you can just kind of, and you can embellish them like tone on tone. So like this one is purple. Oh my gosh. If you heard my stomach, I'm so embarrassed. You know, this guy, or let's see. I think I would put it, where would I put it? Maybe on the pink, no, maybe on the blue. I think on the green. But, you know, so you've got some different embellishments to kind of mess around with. And like I said, last night I ended up with kind of, a little, there will be an embellishment that goes right there. A little bit of a family emergency. So I wasn't home and I didn't print out any pictures. So I'm not able to complete a layout with you during our live today, but I will sit down and try and get that done and post it in our Facebook group. So does anybody have any questions about any of this stuff? I'm going to switch my camera upwards so that maybe, okay, that was our Christmas wreath. And it's because I've been too lazy. Am I upside down? I'm upside down. Okay, hang on. This is the part that when I have to switch directions, that gets me every time. Okay, I think I've got it. Okay, good. Good. Okay. So does anybody have any questions of anything that I did or any of the products I used? I don't see any questions. In fact, I don't see the chat, but I see the chat over on my computer and I see a lot of comments over there, but I'm not seeing any on my phone really. So I think that we're kind of good, right? Does anybody, oh, let's see. Keep the Catherine Puller inks coming. You love them. I do too. I love them also. I think we're going to I don't know that we'll do mini ink pads going forward. I think we'll probably stick with the full size. If we do the minis, we'll probably, looking for the pin that goes in this glue. If we do the minis, we'll probably do a combination with a re-inker in the kit, only because if you're doing mixed media with them, and honestly, if you're using a larger stamp, your ink pad's going to dry out a lot faster than it would if you were using like a full-size ink pad. So you can leave comments letting me know which you would prefer, whether you'd prefer a mini and a re-inker or the full-size ink pad. But yes, I'm a big fan of the Catherine Puller inks. And honestly, the Hero inks, I've been really happy with also. Hero Arts. What are they called? And I don't know what I did with mine because they're not on my desk. I think they're called aqua or water reactive ink pads. We had them in our January kits, I think. And those work much the same as the Catherine Puller inks. So, and they come in a full-size ink pad as well. So I think going forward, considering the way that we use our ink pads, or many of us use our ink pads for mixed media and things of that nature, I do think that the full-size ink pads might be better suited for what we do. So anyway, so does anybody have, okay. Sorry if I gave anybody motion sickness. I apologize because this is like not quite, I got to get that figured out for next time because so anyway, I hope that you learned something today and feel inspired to maybe give one of the techniques that I've shown you today a try. And if you do, be sure to join, well, regardless of whether you do or not, I encourage you to join our Facebook group. It's a great community. Everybody's super friendly, and it's a great place to connect with other people who share the passion for scrapbooking and paper crafting. And you'll always, you know, see something new. People share their pages. We encourage you to come, jump in, introduce yourself, and start sharing as well. And in addition to that, we also have a 2 monthly challenges that we do every single month, and they are revealed during the first week of the month. We do a sketch challenge and a mood board challenge, and they are both going on right now. Do I have, I don't think I have our challenges printed. Next week I will do that, although we're kind of at the end of the month, but next week we'll make sure that I have those and that I share them with you. But if you join the challenge, we give away 2 $25 gift certificates to the one to each of the winners for each of the challenges, and you can use those to buy some goodies at our store. So lots of really cool things. And our design team is there. They share their projects, and it's a great place. Everything is super organized. So our design team uploads the photos of their finished products into an album that is for that specific month's kits. So like there's a kit, or there's an album for our February kits. And if you click on there, you'll see all of the pages that our design team has done that have been created with our February kits. So that's a great thing also. And in addition to that, I believe we're going to compile all of the sketches that we've done over the last like year or two, and we're going to put them in with our downloads, where you can download those for free and just have them on hand when you're looking for inspiration. Sketches oftentimes are a great jumping off point, and you don't have to do them exactly the way that they're designed or printed out. It's messy because I stamped on the back of it, but like this is the sketch that I used for my layout last week. And you can use it like this. You can turn it this way. You can turn it this way. And so sometimes you can use like the same sketch and look at it from a different vantage point and create a very different page using that same sketch as your inspiration. So we'll compile all of those in our Facebook group, or on our website. So all you have to do is register on our website, and you'll be able to access all of those. So yeah. And if you have any questions about any of the products, I believe that the lattice die and the other 2 background dies that I showed you are all in stock, as is, I think we still have a handful of the mixed media stamps. I think it's the January color kit. We might have a few of those left. Not 100% sure. And then all of the products that I used on the pages, or the page ideas that I gave you today, those are all products from our February kit. And so you can order those too. You can purchase, if you're not a subscriber person, you can purchase individual kits. If you want to subscribe, we love that. And it's a great way for you to receive our products for a better price. You save $5 on your main kit each month, and all of our subscribers receive a 15% discount on any add-on kits that they buy. And you also receive free access to our subscriber cup files every month. And we put out about between 6 and 8, sometimes a little more, cup files each month. So I think these are from February, and March will be coming out here very shortly. I'm just finishing those as we speak. This is backwards. Oh no, it's right. Okay. On my phone is backwards. This is a little floral, a heart, wreath. This would be kind of cool with I guess with hexagons. You could, you know, fill in just a few of them if you wanted to with a pattern paper. And this one's super cool. You can see it up close. It's got holes that are piloted so that you can stitch through them, and there's even holes in the centers. So you can either go around or you can crisscross. And there's this one. And I believe that we have one freebie, and this is the freebie cup file. So this one is available to everyone. You just need to be a registered user on our website, and just in order to access any of our cup files, you just need to log into your account and click on cup files, and you'll see all of the cup files that are available to you. So anyway, if anybody has any other questions about anything that I used, anything that I did, leave them in the comments below, and I will be sure to answer them. And head over to our Facebook group and join. I think you'll be really glad that you did. And also, to keep in mind, we post a new YouTube video, process video, every single day. So make sure that you like my video and subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell, because every time we add a new video, you'll get a notification so you don't miss any of the amazing inspiration that we've got for you. So other than that, I think I'm gonna call it good. And I will see you all next Sunday, and tell your friends to join us. The more the merrier. And if there's something in particular that you'd like to see in a future Sunday Fun-Day, leave a comment. And you stayed the whole time, Angela. How sweet of you. I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah. So tell your friends, the more the merrier. Leave me a comment if there's something that you would like to learn or get some direction on or whatever. And I'll try and fit those things into a future live stream. So anyway, thanks you guys. We appreciate your support, and I'll see you next week. Bye.